Hey guys, it's Chris. From stars in the depths of space to the clouds in the sky and beyond, join me as we explore strange natural phenomena you have to see. Number 10. Tabby's Star. Space is a place where many natural things happen, including the creation of stars in the sky. However, when it comes to the star KIC 8462852, thankfully nicknamed Tabby's Star, it stands out above the rest of the stars in the sky because of how its light diminishes. By that, I mean of the 150,000 stars discovered by the Kepler Space Telescope, it's the only one that has its light fade in a way that science can't explain. If you think about Earth's sun, the only time it gets blocked in terms of giving sunlight is when the moon passes by it, called a lunar eclipse. Or if a planet goes by it, which is rare for us to perceive given our position to the sun. Other stars in the universe have similar things happen to them, but not Tabby's star. Its light output drops regularly, sometimes by up to 20% at a time. And yet there's no real logical explanation as to why it's happening. For this to occur at such a rate, that would require a ton of planets to come together to block it. But there aren't enough planets around Tabby's star to do that. There's also the theory that dust clouds from within the star are causing it. But the star itself is not old enough to cause such a phenomenon. There are many other theories as to why this happens to this particular star, but as of yet, none of them have been definitively proven. Number 9. Star jelly. There are many forms of water that fall from the sky, but one of the most mysterious of these forms is known as star jelly. Because unlike rain, sleet, hail, or snow, star jelly is gelatinous, which isn't something you'd expect to see coming down from the sky. Because it's still liquid in nature, it evaporates once it hits the ground, but numerous people have seen and taken pictures of this star jelly. And these pictures were later proven to be real. In fact, some people have actually witnessed it raining down from the sky, causing all sorts of rumors and speculation about where it comes from and how it gets created, which is where the mystery of star jelly lies. Scientists have gotten pieces of it and studied it. Quite confoundingly, the substance doesn't contain any DNA of any sort, not unlike what water is. This has raised a singular question that no one has been able to answer yet. How does star jelly form? And just to be clear, star jelly is not something that's only just occurred recently. There are reports of star jelly going back as far as the 14th century, which means that star jelly hasn't just been around a long time, but it's something that's continued despite the great changes in the world. Number 8. Blood sky. There's an old fisherman's saying that a red sky in the morning, fisherman's warning, red sky at night, fisherman's delight. This is a reference to how the sky can sometimes turn red at sunrise and sunset, signaling bad or good things to come. But in El Salvador in April of 2016, they had their own red sky, and it's one that hasn't been explained yet. According to reports, a bright red flash pierced the sky and turned everything red. It lasted from a few seconds to a minute, depending on who you talk to. But when it was gone, the sky was left somewhat pink. Given the fast nature of this event, it's clearly nothing like what fishermen see on the sea. What's more, the town where this was documented is very much inland in regards to El Salvador. So if it was being seen there, it was being seen all over possibly. Atmospheric conditions, reflections, and more have been speculated to be the cause, but no one has an answer for what happened to this day. Number 7. Raining animals. While it may seem like something out of a nightmare, the phenomenon of it raining animals is quite real, and it's happened quite often with a wide variety of animals. You might have heard stories that spiders have rained down from the sky, and they have, but other animals that have been caught in this mind-boggling phenomenon include fish, tadpoles, frogs, worms, and even snakes. And you'll notice these are flightless animals, so that begs the question, how do they get into the sky? And the easy answer is that a tornado or a waterspout picked up all the animals, and once they were done, they came back down to Earth. The problem is that certain cases with the water creatures have been miles inland, so nowhere near where the waterspout would have been around. Plus, if it was as simple as that, the animals would have dropped to the ground seconds after the event, but that's not what happens. So how do they stay up in the air so long? Though many people have been witness to this phenomenon, scientists haven't. And because this event can't be predicted, it can't really be studied at length. Number 6. Fairy circles. In the Namib Desert, there's an odd formation called the fairy circles that has perplexed all who see it. This is because the circles have no known origin and can range from 6 to 45 feet in diameter and are drawn in the shape of a honeycomb. Oh, and combined, they cover 2,500 kilometers of land in the desert. The theories around these circles are numerous and varied. There's a notion that radioactivity caused certain plants to die, and that caused the weird formations. Others think it's a natural occurrence via an animal like termites. But at present, no real answers have been found. Just as interesting, while the fairy circles were once thought to be found solely in Namibia, in 2014, very similar circles were also discovered in Australia. Number 5. Lenticular clouds. There are many kinds of clouds in the sky, but when it comes to lenticular clouds, they're ones that really stand out from the crowd as they appear stacked or shaped in unique ways. The definition of the clouds are as follows. Stationary clouds that form mostly in the troposphere, typically in perpendicular alignment to the wind direction. They're often comparable in appearance to a lens or a saucer. But how exactly does this happen? When air moves across the Earth, there are sometimes obstructions that are found. These cause eddies or areas of turbulence. When this happens, clouds are formed in the disrupted areas, and thus they take very atypical shapes, or even appear to be stacked upon one another. Number 4. Blood falls. Don't worry though, it's not actually a waterfall made of blood, but rather it's a waterfall coming out of a glacier in Antarctica that flows red, giving it its rather infamous nickname. The glacier in question is the Taylor Glacier, and the reason for its red coloring is rather simple in context. You see, the glacier isn't just holding a bunch of ice together. It's also holding back an ancient body of water, one that is 2 million years old, and filled with microbes and other things from days long gone by. Eventually, the glacier broke enough to let the water flow forth. Though it is unknown exactly when this happened, the blood falls were only discovered in 1911. The water that was sealed away is high in salinity, as well as heavy in iron. Mix salt water with iron, then expose it to oxygen, and you get oxygenation, which is what causes iron to rust. Here in the water, it's causing the same thing, and this in turn gets the water to go from blue to a reddish color. The blood falls themselves are 5 stories high on the Taylor Glacier, and the water actually flows rather slowly, which is why the ice is stained by the blood. It should also be noted that the revelation about the blood falls is recent. It was once believed that algae turned the color of the falls red, which it has done in other bodies of water in the past. Number 3. Milky Sea phenomenon. Bioluminescence is a process of the body of certain animals and plants that allows them to glow certain colors, and there are some areas of the world that have plants or algae that illuminate certain areas of water. However, well outside of these areas, sailors from many periods of time have noted that the oceans or seas that they've traveled have glowed for unknown reasons, and never in the same spot. Or even stranger, it'd glow in the day or the night, which is a direct contrast to various areas that have bioluminescent plants or algae. Adding to the mystery, in 2016, a satellite image of one of those milky seas were captured, and scientists determined that it wasn't plants or algae doing this, but actually a massive group of bacteria. But therein lies the question. Why would such bacteria come together in such mass, propagate in various parts of the ocean for days at a time? Some scientists think it's because they're trying to attract food or even fish, but that's not been proven. Nor does this answer explain why the phenomenon happens at all, or why it happens in only certain parts of the ocean or seas or various other bodies of water, and not others that seem just as likely to have it happen. Number 2. Taos hum. To the people living in Taos, New Mexico, there's a weird hum that can be heard by only 2% of the people who live there or visit there. This is known as the Taos hum. And depending on who you talk to, you'll get different answers to the question, what does it sound like? The first reported cases of the hum were first brought up in the 1990s, and it became so famous that the University of New Mexico actually tried to investigate it to find the source. And they couldn't figure it out, not even with the incredible technological equipment they had. This in turn left some wondering if it really was real. But since many out-of-town people have heard it, it's clear to many that this isn't so much of a hoax, but rather a connection with certain people. These people are called hearers, and there are more out there than you might think. While there are many theories as to what the Taos hum really is, there is one true known fact. This isn't an occurrence that is rooted solely in Taos, New Mexico. Research into this event have found places all over the world that suffer from a kind of humming noise, leading many to wonder what exactly is going on in all these places. Because right now, there's no definitive answer that can account for the widespread nature of these noises. And to some, it's scary, because why can only some people hear it when others can't? Number 1. Beacon of Maracaibo. When there's a storm, there is often lightning, but in Venezuela, there's lightning that virtually never stops. This is known as the Beacon of Maracaibo. Specifically, this happens every night in western Venezuela over the Catatumbo River. Starting at around 7 p.m., lightning will start to strike the river. and it won't stop for the next 10 hours. This storm happens between 140 and 260 days of the year and can strike around 280 times an hour. What makes this phenomenon so special is that no one is really clear as to why the lightning does this so frequently and so unendingly. There have been many theories, including that there was uranium in the bedrock of the lake and that was causing the strikes. But others say that it's a unique weather pattern that's formed because of the mountains that surround the area. Neither theory has been definitively proven though. We do know that weather conditions affect it though, because a drought in 2010 caused the event to temporarily stop for months. Many have taken pictures of the frequent and powerful lightning that comes over the area, which isn't too hard, as not only are lightning strikes frequent, but they're so powerful they can be viewed from around 250 miles away. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these strange natural phenomena that you have to see and hear for yourself? Which of these would you honestly want to see in person? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time on the channel.